It's late. You've hit your macros for the day and you're craving that one dessert right now. And for years, the answer has been quite simple actually, the sugar free ice creams. Now, during my weight loss journey, these sugar free ice creams were a godsend. I mean, I had to cut down on so many calories. I was running on a pretty large calorie deficit, and sugar free ice creams or sugar free cookies, desserts, things like that actually kept me going because every week I would at least crave an ice cream once or twice, especially if it's summer. Don't get me started. So it gave me the treat I wanted without the sugar crash, without the massive amount of calories that we know now that maybe it was false. But it has also been an incredible product for my parents who are diabetic. Guilt free ice cream or sugar free ice creams has been something that they also look forward to because, hey, even they deserve a good treat. But lately, the conversation that we are seeing has been around more than sugar free or no added sugar. It has been around having a more clean and transparent label, essentially forcing brands to tell the truth at the end of the day. And that is something that should be a given, but independent testing agencies have found for brands like Go Zero, NOTO, and Get-A-Whey that they have not been claiming the correct things on their label. The calorie count has been very off. The amount of sugar, it may be natural sugars, even then, has been off. The amount of carbs has been off. So whom do you trust at the end of the day? What is going on in this industry? Is anyone really saying the truth? We only tested for three of them, but even in other independent tests, the other big brands like Amul have been failing simple tests for milk, for curd. So, can you really trust their ice creams at the end of the day? You really don't know, right? At this point, everything that you're consuming almost feels like, hey, is this brand lying to me or are they not? Now, let's be fair, if we keep that aside, the brands have been doing a great job of bringing in newer categories of products that never existed in the country, creating newer innovation in these products as well. For a very long time, we had the basic flavors, vanilla chocolate. Then we had a few premium flavors, as we call it. We started having Belgian chocolate, there was pistachio, and now there's a lot more newer flavors like filter coffee, cheesecake, chai flavored ice creams, and whatnot. So, yes, there is innovation in the space, and honestly, a lot of these ice creams that I'm talking about are delicious. And today we're actually doing a deep dive into India's $3 billion ice cream industry, mainly looking at the guilt free and healthy ice cream ranges and where is this smaller segment of this $3 billion industry heading towards. Is this really a fad or are they saying the truth at the end of the day? Is it okay to consume these products? Why does a small tub of ice cream cost almost 150 to 300 rupees? So let's get into that. Historically, in India, we have seen that there are only a few brands who have dominated the market across rural and urban areas, Amul and Quality Walls to name a couple, with their 20 rupee cones, 10 rupee ice cream cups. And this is something that is so accessible. That was something that I bought from the store near my house where I used to go after playing with my friends, and we would get a small ice cream cone and just have the day of our lives. Now, why is it that very recently, in the past couple of years, we are seeing a change in consumption? Why are people moving towards a more health oriented consumption? Firstly, this is because of the rise of the Henrys. High earners, not rich yet. People with a higher disposable income. They are not exactly rich because they have not maybe accumulated as much wealth, but they are earning a lot more compared to maybe previous generations did at their age, and they want to live a life which is a lot more upgraded in nature and want to consume products which are more aligned with this upgraded lifestyle. So these are the people who are consuming these products, and they are demanding products which are clean, products which are healthier, and hence we see a lot more brands either pivoting towards this or also newer brands coming across in the same space. Now, apart from that, urban income levels in India also rose by around 20% from 2019 to 2023. This indicates that yes, people have been earning a lot more. It is not just the younger generation, the Gen Z or the millennials who have that disposable income, but in general, urban income has risen in the past couple of years. Apart from that, there is also urbanization happening of a lot more towns. So, rural areas, as we call them rural, are by 2050, according to a study, it's not going to be rural anymore. They are also going to have access to a lot more of these new age goods. And finally, it's not just about the money. If we categorize different personas within this, there are three kinds of people that actually come about. One, the macro balancers. They are the people who want to ensure that they are consuming only a set number of calories in a day. They want to ensure that they do not cross that. So, guilt-free indulgence, which is your sugar-free ice creams, come in this space. Second is the people who are mandated to have it in a way. Not mandated, but I would like to say people who want to have ice creams but cannot. Maybe they're diabetic, people like my parents. They genuinely love a good sweet treat. But because of their condition, they are not allowed to have it maybe on that much of a regular basis. Hence, a guilt free indulgence plays a big part here. And next, which is a new wave that we are seeing now, which is the clean label purists. This is actually very, very amazing, first of all, to see in our country. But apart from that, it also ensures that brands are now becoming a lot more honest and truthful. Because consumers are demanding a lot more transparency, either brands are already pivoting to it or brands have come up in the space where they claim to be, hey, we are no nasties, we don't put any of those artificial flavorings, colors, etc., etc. Basically, things that are not supposed to be in your food will not be in your food. So, hence, we see now there's a growth at the top of the pyramid where these goods, which historically maybe costed only a couple bucks, like 10, 20 rupees, the same goods can now cost almost 5 times more because of these added tags slash these added trust factors along with them. So, how did these new age brands even reach the consumers? For years, the Amul and quality walls of the country have owned the grocery store shelves. They have been available in every small kirana shop as well who has a freezer. So, for a new age brand like NOTO, Get-A-Whey, for them to actually enter this offline market seems honestly really, really difficult because A, you don't know who would you target, which cities to target, which areas to target, how would you even get access to that much data because offline distribution has multiple layers. And quick commerce was the answer here. Quick commerce, with their dark store model, allows you to firstly understand consumption patterns in a much easier way because A, the target consumer for all of these new age brands has been the urban consumers. And most of the dark stores as well for all of these quick commerce companies have been located in areas where we have these urban consumers, people with a larger disposable income who are willing to spend maybe 10 rupees for the convenience of getting goods delivered at their home. And by mid 2025, all the quick commerce platforms combined were almost serving 33 million monthly users, which is a large, large user base to reach for a new brand. So, this is where they found scale. Noto, Get-A-Whey, all of these new age brands are present in Zepto, Blinkit, Swiggy, Instamart, name it, and they're there. And this is how they were able to build the brand awareness. This is how they were able to market. So, Zepto, Swiggy, Instamart provided that platform for all of these new age brands to actually get listed and reach these customer base that they are mainly targeting as well. Now, in the dark store model, there is the concept of instant gratification. And if you think about guilt-free ice cream is a very indulgent dessert, right? It is something that you crave. You've eaten your dinner and you want a sweet treat. And you go on one of these quick commerce apps, you place the order, and you have it within 10 minutes. And at that point, a lot of the people who are actually consuming this are not thinking about, okay, a 125 ml small tub costs me 100 rupees or 150 rupees. They want that guilt free treat. They feel like, hey, I deserve it at the end of the day. And because they were able to show scale, right, through these quick commerce apps, it's also the reason why these brands have been raising a lot more money. Noto raised a 15 crore round. Go Zero also raised around 30 crores in the last funding round. And at this point, I believe they are not targeting innovation as much because they already have cracked the flavors, the new products. But more of that is, I think, going towards distribution, because at this point, yes, they are present on quick commerce platforms, but they need to target a lot more offline distribution. Where I have personally been seeing a lot more offline stores of Noto coming up, a lot more offline stores of Go Zero also coming up. So that kind of signals to me that they are also focusing a lot more on offline, creating an offline awareness as well for all of these brands. Okay, most people by now actually know that in India, FSSAI has regulated the term ice cream. Ice cream can only be put on a label when you know that your product is completely made from milk fat. In case your brand uses anything other than milk fat, for example, a lot of brands actually use palm oil or any other kind of fat as well, and those products need to be labeled as frozen desserts or frozen confection. But I believe there needs to be a smaller change here in rules, because most of these new age ice cream brands actually use mostly milk in their products to make their ice cream. But yes, they do have a lot vegan version as well. For example, minus 30, which has, I think, the one of the smallest ingredient list out of those all. It is, yes, one of the more expensive ones, but because it doesn't have any of the nasty ingredients, as I would like to call it, a lot of its vegan versions cannot be claimed to be ice cream because it is made from a non-dairy milk, or it the fat within it comes from maybe nut butters. So that requires them to then call it a frozen dessert. And frozen dessert is not perceived very well actually in the Indian market, according to some research that I read online, because according to a lot of the consumers, it shows it as a sign of lower quality. So maybe FSSAI may need to update their regulations here to ensure that these cleaner brands, and if they have vegan versions as well, they don't they maybe have an updated label for the same. It can be called vegan ice cream, I guess, or anything else. Essentially, rules need an update here. Now, coming to the spicy part of the video, the trust equation. Now, from Trustified, we found that most of these brands, Noto, Get-A-Whey, and Go Zero, actually failed their lab test results. They had more sugar than they claimed, they had maybe lesser protein that they claimed. And if you want to check out more on the results, please head to the video. I will link that in my bio and you can have a better look about the results. But just to give a small highlight, Get-A-Whey, which is primarily a protein ice cream brand, had lesser protein than it actually claimed, and it also had almost 500% more sugar than it claimed. Now, a lot of these brands may be lying on their labels. Yes, it has been proven by Trustified. But that doesn't mean that just because they have a higher amount of sugar in their product, it directly means that it is added sugar. Essentially, it can be essentially a zero calorie or low glycemic index sweetener that is being added. Because according to other videos that I have watched on YouTube, where people test the glucose spike with a Go Zero ice cream or a Brooklyn Creamery ice cream versus testing it with the normal Amul sugar filled tub, The glucose spike directly indicates that yes, these sugar free ice creams are saying the truth, that yes, they are sugar free, they are a healthier alternative. But what the consumers really want is, hey, let's be honest, if your sugar in your product is coming from maybe milk, if they are naturally occurring sugars, claim the amount properly on the label. If you're using a higher milk fat content, claim that. If you're using a different fat actually to substitute instead of milk fat, say that as well. Let the consumer make a choice about what is good for them and what is not. And don't essentially lie on the label. That's all I think a lot of us, especially me, are asking for. It doesn't mean that I will stop consuming a lot of these zero sugar ice cream brands, but what I would now keep in mind is that the macros that they're claiming is not right. So I would maybe go back to the justified results and verify these macros to ensure that, hey, if I have to follow a stricter diet in terms of how many calories I'm consuming a day, I will be more careful. I will not go by that 90 calorie label that they claim on their product anymore. So it has broken the trust equation for me. And tomorrow, if there's a brand that is able to build that trust, yes, I would choose that brand over these new previous brands that I used to consume, because hey, if the other brand is saying the truth, why not, right? Ice cream is an indulgent dessert, as I already said, and people want to enjoy the experience. You don't want to have something icy, you want to have something creamy, something luxurious at the end of the day, I believe. So do these new age brands that claimed to be healthier and be more trustworthy really going to crack the market? Or, like, what I have seen happen a lot is a bigger player actually comes into the picture and then disrupts it again. So Amul has been actually doing a great job in this space, where Amul, because they have access to the whey, which is essentially a byproduct of their production, they're able to create a whole new range and sell protein ice cream, sell sugar free products at a much, much lower price. Today, we will test later in the video. A Amul sugar free ice cream costed me 30 rupees, whereas a Go Zero, same vanilla flavor sugar free ice cream, costed me almost 100 rupees. That's more than three times the price, right? So why would a person not choose Amul over Go Zero? What really is the advantage that Go Zero is providing at this point? Because they are clearly not saying the truth. Amul has been claiming, we'll go into the macros a little later, Amul claims a much higher amount of calories in their cup, which seems a lot more realistic in nature. So clearly it doesn't look like they're lying, and Amul has the advantage that they have built trust over a very long time in the country. It is a brand that has been consumed by our grandparents, our parents, and many generations essentially. So if tomorrow Amul has expands their product range in this no added sugar, high protein, essentially healthy food range, the day is not far where they would disrupt the market, and these newer brands would maybe get a little bit more dull. So who's gonna win at the end of the day? I don't know. It fully depends on honesty, the product quality, and the trust that these brands have with their consumers. Now, coming to the most interesting part of this video, the blind taste test. Actually, it's not really blind, I can see all the products. So, I went to the dentist today, so I'm allowed to have ice cream. This is the Go Zero French Vanilla. I'm gonna be comparing it with the Amul sugar free ice malai, which is also sort of like a vanilla flavor. And I'm also going to be comparing it against minus 30. I consider this to be a lot more premium in nature. So minus 30 costed me 160 rupees for the small tub. This one was around 30 rupees, but I think it MRP is 45, and this costed me around 100 rupees. So let's compare all of them. This is the Amul ice cream. It looks very good. Feels quite creamy actually. So if you see the texture right there. Damn, it is like malai. It's barely sweet. It feels almost like there's no sugar in it. Like there's no sugar. Damn. Okay. Next, coming to the Go Zero. Comes with its own spoon, so that's great. Amul did not have a spoon in it. Also, this is a lot more creamier. So if you see the texture, this is so much better. I didn't get a vanilla minus 30, but this is, I think, the most premium out of the all brands. And let's see what's there in that. Should not be doing this with one hand. This is a lot easier to open. First look doesn't look good at all. I mean, for 160 rupees, I don't know if it's just this batch which was bad, but I don't know if I should have it. It almost looks like it has spoiled. Yeah, no, it feels like it's spoiled. I don't want to have it. Okay, not looking great for minus 30 because I have consumed their bars and those ice creams are great. So I don't really know what's going on here. Maybe it was just not stored very well at the store and that's the reason, but I'm honestly not sure what's going on because it tastes it I haven't even tasted it. It just looks so bad and frothy that I don't want to try it. I have a feeling that something went wrong in the cold chain logistics nature of it all where it got spoiled. But out of these all, yes, Go Zero is my favorite. Apart from that, I also really like Brooklyn Creamery if it matters to you. This is a 100 ml cup and they say it's 91 calories. This is also a 100 ml cup, I think 125 ml, and this claims it is 158 calories. In terms of ingredients, they both have milk. Let me just compare that. I don't think this is the best way to do it, but let's see if I can. Yeah, so they both have milk solids. As a sweetener, Amul uses fructooligosaccharides, and here in Go Zero they use malitol and oligofructose. Apart from that, both of them have emulsifiers. They almost look like they're the same. And they have some stabilizers, but Go Zero also has nature identical vanilla flavoring substances. And Amul doesn't have any flavoring substances. So I think that's a good sign. It is just mainly malai. And Go Zero, even though I personally think natural flavoring substances is something that is not supposed to be in food. I think it's just a chemically produced flavor. But that's another point to debate some other time. But I'm really, really sad. I think I'm just gonna complain to Swiggy about why did they give this product. It is so spoiled. Anyways, the economics of a pint. Now, why is a tiny tub of ice cream, as I already said earlier, costs over 100 rupees, right? Because a small tub like that, usually you would assume costed around 20 to 30 rupees. But at this point, it has been so normalized that such a small tub of ice cream is going to cost you a minimum 100 rupees if it's claiming to be healthy, sugar free, clean, and all of that. Now, one of the first reasons is most of these new age brands don't have access to whey as a byproduct of their production like Amul does. So these newer brands have to source it, and whey is expensive. If they're making a protein ice cream, it can go anywhere between 350 to 2300 rupees per kg. Then comes the sweeteners. If a brand is claiming to use stevia, if they are claiming to use monk fruit, which are actually a lot more expensive than using a sweetener like aspartame or using, I think it's, I know it as Splenda. I forget what the original ingredient is. But using an artificial sweetener versus using the natural sources of zero calorie sweeteners, the price differs a lot. So, sugar, which stands at 40 rupees per kg, stevia actually costs anywhere between 170 to 8200 rupees per kg. So that clearly brings up the cost of creating that product. Now, a lot of these brands function on a 50% gross margin, and because they're new age brands, they have to build a lot more brand awareness. A large spend actually goes into acquiring new customers, ensuring that the customers who have been consuming come back. So repeat rates have to be higher. So all of these combined, at the end of the day, they, a lot of them may still not be profitable or may have actually really really small margins, which is why they do cost a lot more compared to Amul, who already has a very large distribution channel established from all of their other products. They have the cold chain logistics in place. Essentially, they have everything already set up for them. The only thing that they are primarily focusing on is product innovation and then distributing it in places where they believe it's going to excel the most. And they have that data. They have the data of consumption patterns across decades across the country. So that helps them to also scale more efficiently. So that is an advantage that these bigger brands have over the newer brands today. And which is why maybe yes, Amul is able to price a small tub at 30 rupees, whereas the newer brands are still pricing them at over 100 rupees. We go into the ice cream industry, it is not just the online stores, but yes, it is also the offline stores. Like we have Naturals, we have Corner House, and now newer age brands are also coming about. Like the one ice cream kitchen in Bangalore, there's Amadora, which is in Chennai and in Bangalore. There is Milano, which has also been in Bangalore for a very long time. Their stores are always full, okay? And whenever you go there after 7 p.m. on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you will always see that there's a lot of people just sitting there having their cup of ice cream, having a great time, because offline experiences are coming about to be something that people enjoy doing a lot more than just being at home. And apart from that, a lot of these new age brands are able to also build a trust that some of these online brands have failed to do. The newer brands that are coming about in the offline space are claiming that they use clean ingredients, they don't have any nasty ingredients, they are not putting things that is not supposed to go in food. The older brands like Corner House, Naturals, they're able to do so well even today, and their business is growing, and they have been able to stand the test of time, is because they have always focused on the quality of their product. They have ensured that, like for example, Naturals has ensured that they do not put nasty ingredients in their ice cream. Corner House always had amazing ice creams. I still go back there. It is such a nostalgic place for me. So apart from just the online space, even in the offline space, we're seeing a lot more innovation come about. So is guiltless indulgence here to stay, or is it just a fad? According to me, it is here to stay. Why I say that is when this category was created, we saw that people wanted to consume these ice creams. They want to have a sugar free dessert. They want to essentially take care of their health a lot more, which is why they are looking towards healthier alternatives. So, guiltless indulgence is here to stay. What needs to be done in this space, not just for the new age brands, but even for any brand actually, any company that comes about, they need to be a lot more well regulated, according to me, because if an independent testing agency has to do the job of proving that hey, your brand is saying something wrong on the label, I don't think we're in a good space. FSSAI needs to step up and start essentially regulating these brands and this entire space a lot more, because these are goods that is consumed by millions and millions of people in this country. And if it has, even if the label is wrong, but what if that product had something bad in it? What if they're using lower quality ingredients? What if they have something that is not good for you at the end of the day? So who is the one who is going to hold them accountable? It cannot be just the consumers. Consumers can only make the decision based off of what a brand claims. And the only thing that you expect from a brand apart from a great quality product is trust. Whatever they say is the truth. But if that fails, then yes, you can see this category diminishing. But I believe that there will be either newer brands coming up, or the older brands will be pivoting towards actually becoming a lot more honest, and hopefully build products which don't claim things that is not true at the end of the day. So, our job as consumers is simple: demanding honesty and hoping that brands are being honest. And if you are someone who consumes guilt free ice creams, let me know after the trustified results. Have you actually reduced your consumption, or are you continuing your consumption? I hope you like this video. If you want to see more of this, like this video, subscribe, it's free, and bye. Until next time, don't forget to hydrate.